Welcome and thank you for joining Start Strong with News Literacy. Please take time to review the resource doc at go.newslit.org/818. You will find links to resources I am sharing and showing. Add your name and role and where you are from to the chat. I'm Erin Olson, and my colleague Ryan Lynn will be supporting in the chat, ready to answer your questions. Founded in 2008, the News Literacy Project is a nonpartisan education nonprofit that works with educators, school districts, and states to ensure students receive news literacy instruction before they graduate from high school. Our resources are all free. And this is just a quick note. Recording or republication of any part of this presentation is prohibited without permission of the News Literacy Project, with the exception of authorized partner organizations. Thinking about news and media literacy, consider what will help your students navigate their information environments. As I share resources, consider what will be helpful to you and be thinking about what you want to try. And at the end of our time together, feel free to share your ideas with the group. News literacy is a discipline within media literacy. News literacy teaches students how to think about news and information, not what to think. News literacy education helps students make independent, informed decisions about what news and information to trust by teaching them to recognize the characteristics of credible information, the skills and insight to decide which sources of news and other information to seek out and rely on to make informed decisions. During our time together, I will highlight Checkology Digital Classroom. It's a one-stop shop that gives educators tools to teach news literacy to middle school and high school students. There are supports for elementary too. The lessons and resources teach students how to identify credible information, seek out reliable sources, and spot misinformation. For those of you who like to be in the thing while you learn about the thing, head to checkology.org and get registered for a free account. Note there are multiple ways to register: Clever or single sign-on with Google and Microsoft, along with simply registering with your email. Once you're signed in to Checkology, you will see your dashboard with the SIFT on the right-hand side. You can also choose to subscribe to the SIFT. It's a free weekly newsletter offering classroom-ready lessons based on a rundown of the latest topics in news literacy, including trends and issues in misinformation, social media, artificial intelligence, and journalism. One of the two slide decks accompanying the SIFT would be the Daily Do Now slides. These Do Now resources are an ideal way to maximize news literacy learning in the opening minutes of class. Your teaching instructions are found in the notes section of each slide. The notes include the standard connection, as well as links to extensions, your instructions. The notes section for this slide also includes a full transcript of the video I'm about to play. Let's look at this example: Two Truths and AI. Can you tell which is AI? Feel free to add your answer in the chat when you think you know.
Jumping out of an airplane, scaling a mountain, skiing with a paraglider strapped to your back. These extreme sports take an insane level of determination, or at least they used to. Now you can create these feats with a few quick keystrokes in an AI video generator. I'm gonna play 3 videos. 2 of them are real and the other is AI generated. Can you spot the fake? This is Two Truths and AI. Number 1. Number 2.
There's a cliff, you just take some speed, you fly over the cliff. Yeah, that opens a lot of possibilities when you ski.
Number 3. Okay, think you got it? If you guessed it was the video of all these skydivers, I wouldn't blame you because that video looks crazy, but it's real. It shows 104 skydivers setting a world record for the largest canopy formation ever. This happened above Lake Wales, Florida in 2025. And how do we know this? If we take a screenshot from the video and bring it over to Google to do a reverse image search, there is plenty of evidence. The results include other photos and videos from news outlets, plus a post from the International Skydiving Association. So what about the skiing paragliding? I did not know that this was a thing that people did, but this video is also real. When viral videos are legit, they usually come with some context. Something in the description, text on screen, details about where and when it happened. And that's not the case with fakes. I can't tell you who this mountain climber is because she doesn't exist. I can't tell you where it was filmed because, well, it wasn't filmed anywhere. It's fake. If we go looking for additional information about this person by maybe checking the source, we won't find any information about this ice climber. What we will find is an account that posts similar AI-generated content. Of course, we could probably determine that this was AI just by slowing down and really looking at it. Can you spot any obvious signs of AI? Take a closer look at the anchor. It changes shapes. The ropes disappear, and then the anchor kind of repositions itself on its own. So there you have it. These two videos are totally real, and this one is totally AI generated. So, did you get it right this week? Let us know in the comments. And if you like this series, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode of Two Truths in AI.
Then you could hold a class discussion about the rise of AI-generated images, video, and other content. Ask students to share some of their responses about how they can determine if something might be AI-generated. Let's move to the resource library. Notice you can browse by category. You can search by topic, grade level, duration, subject area, and standard. I selected type. Let's look at an example of our infographics and posters. You can download or place in your digital space. 6 things to know about AI. This infographic provides an overview of how this technology works and offers 6 news literacy takeaways to keep in mind as these tools evolve. Generative AI tools are not objective, reliably factual. Of course, it's not all bad. Content is easier than ever to create and fake. It signals a change in the nature of evidence. Reputable sources matter more than ever. Definitely a timely infographic. And of course, there's more for you to search and utilize. We also have instructional slides. In this activity, students consider the role of news in today's online environment. Students practice separating news from content about news by analyzing social media posts from content creators and influencers. The lesson plan includes a slide deck with your teaching instructions in the notes section. During the course of this learning experience, students will reflect on these essential questions. What counts as news? What separates news from content about news? Why is it important to know the difference? I've pulled a few slides to show as an overview. You can show this collage of examples and explain it's tempting in today's information ecosystem to see everything as content that is on equal footing, in part because that's the way it comes to us in our feeds. You could hold a short discussion with students, asking, what about these examples makes them look and feel similar to traditional news coverage? Responses might include the design of the post, the language they use, and how they all focus on timely subjects involving current events. As we guide students through this, we would have them consider back to, well, what makes something news? What separates news from other types of information? Well, what is the purpose of news? All of these are considerations and part of what is news, this unit lesson plan and slides. Additionally, there are videos for students to make the determination if it's news or if it's content about news. The lesson also includes infographics and posters from the resource tab to support student learning. The information ecosystem depends on news. Is it legit? 5 steps for vetting a news source, and 7 standards of quality journalism. Let's go to the content tab to access our free comprehensive online lesson platform designed to supplement your curriculum. The lessons found here are for middle and high school students. Checkology has over 20 lessons taught by experts in the field, along with even more extension activities and challenges for learners. The supplemental lessons can last 2 to 5 45-minute class periods. ELA, social studies, history, civics teachers, STEM teachers, and librarians all utilize our content. I'm going to highlight the following. Introduction to Algorithms lesson. In this, students dive into the world of algorithms and generative artificial intelligence as they weigh the civic and social impact of these technologies. Is it legit? The challenge that accompanies the poster. It highlights 5 tips to vet a news source. We're going to focus on step 1. Reverse image search. This tutorial provides instructions on how to reverse image search on a phone and a computer. I'm going to go ahead and head to Checkology now. All right, we're in Checkology, and here is our dashboard. So you can see what I've described already. The SIFT is on the right-hand side. Checkology, we're in our the Checkology content, the content tab. The Learn section has lessons, practice, and extensions, just as they're named. They practice and extend the learning, and then, of course, the fact checks. We're going to check out that first lesson, Introduction to Algorithms. You can see at the bottom, you're able to navigate through each part of the lesson. There's 41 parts to this lesson. You have your WW, the word wall, access to that vocabulary. You can navigate slides on the far right, and you can see all the supplemental materials that accompany this lesson. I would like to show you the lesson guide. The lesson guides are helpful because it shares with you who the expert in the field is, Mia Sato, for this specific lesson. You get the about, you see objectives, you see essential questions. For example, how much influence do algorithms have in my life? And then you see that lesson outline. This is foundational. It starts with what is an algorithm, and then it builds upon that until we get to chapter 5, when we help students have an understanding around generative AI. Chapter 2, what are algorithms? So this video talks about how algorithms work. And after each video, after each portion, after each learning, students have a formative assessment. So in this, students are asked, which of the following best describes how search engine algorithms work? Students are able to answer, and it is auto-graded. I'm going to advance us to chapter 5, generative AI. Let's watch a portion of this video so you can see an example of the learning. You have met, up to this point, students have met Algo, who is algorithm personified. They're about to meet Jen, who is generative AI personified. Here we go.
Oh, it looks like 2 things in your cart are now available for a lower price. Mia, this is Jen. Short for generative AI. She's so cool. If you thought the things I could do were impressive, just wait till you see what Jen can do. Bye. You want to see the Mona Lisa playing an electric guitar? But painted in the style of Van Gogh? Or comic book?
How did you...
How about a research paper on Toni Morrison? The War of 1812? Molecular biology?
Not bad, but you didn't include any citations or sources.
Done. Included the sources you asked for.
Wait a minute. Toni Morrison isn't from Illinois, she's from Ohio. And for this paper on the War of 1812, you cite a New York Times article, but did they actually even publish that?
Okay, so again, just a quick view of part of that lesson. And then as students continue through the learning, they would, at the end of this lesson, be able to argue the potential risks and benefits of generative AI using examples from the lesson to back up their claims. So here's an example of an open-ended formative assessment. Let's take a peek at Is It Legit? Just a reminder, at the bottom, you have access to the word wall, and you can advance slides using that slide navigation. we're going to check out step 1.
Okay, step 1 should be really easy to remember. Do a quick search. I know, it might sound like a no-brainer, right? But doing just one simple search can make all the difference and can often save you from even needing to do the other steps. Now, when I say search, I'm not talking about searching on social media. Be sure to go to a search engine like Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo, and see what other legitimate sources have to say about the news source you're evaluating. This is called lateral reading, a term first introduced by researchers at Stanford University. Journalists and fact checkers use this skill all the time to assess information online. It's a game changer. Let me show you what I mean. Recently, I came across this TikTok video about a dad reportedly helping his daughter practice ballet. Seems pretty fun and harmless, right? But I noticed this label at the bottom that said Russian state-controlled media. What? It was posted by an account called In the Now, which seems to post a lot of these feel-good type stories. But when I go to their profile, all I see is a bio that says, kindness is dope. I mean, agreed, it totally is, but that doesn't tell me anything about this account. So to find out about this source, the quickest and easiest thing I can do is open a new tab or hop over to Google to do a search. When I type In the Now in my search bar, I get a lot of results, but I really want the most credible sources. So I'm going to tweak my search terms and click the News tab to narrow my results. Other news sources clearly call its credibility into question. They say it's controlled by the Russian government and is connected to another source called RT. And hey, a quick search of RT gives us another clear answer. These sources are state-controlled and funded by the Russian government. That means they're not independent or free of government influence, and they can't be trusted as a credible source. So hey, while these videos may seem harmless, we need to be skeptical and critical of everything they publish. That's because state-controlled media doesn't exist to inform you. It exists to influence you in some way. You know, to make the sponsoring government look good, or to make other governments, certain groups, or certain ideas look bad.
Okay, so there was step 1. And then right after step 1, there's our check-in. Students would use this example. They do a quick investigation into the source by searching for information in new tabs. So they put this into practice, step 1 into practice. The directions say do not go to the website itself. The key is to open news tabs to look for information about the website from other sources. And again, students would answer and it would be auto-graded. Let's go to the check center. So right here, the check center, I want to show you the tutorial. We're going to go to the toolbox. I'm going to scroll down to skills. So you have access to all that you see here. We're going to look at reverse image search, as I mentioned earlier. So this is a tutorial that shows reverse image search on the phone as well as what it would look like on a computer. There's 3 steps to remember: save or screenshot the image, upload to image search tool, and then carefully examine the results. In this example, we're reverse image searching images of elephants led by P.T. Barnum crossing the Brooklyn Bridge. Let's watch a little bit of this.
Now let's repeat those same steps, this time on a computer. This time, let's fact check this post that looks like a historical photo. It claims 21 elephants crossed the Brooklyn Bridge in 1884, which was supposedly done to prove the bridge was safe. That would be a super fun fact if true, but I don't know. Some of these people look a little weird. Could be because the photo's just really old, or maybe it's AI generated. In any case, it's definitely worth checking out. Let's start by right-clicking the image to see what options come up. Depending on your browser or the social media platform, you might see something like search with Google Lens. You can also right-click on the image to copy image address or save the image directly to your computer. Open Google, click the camera icon. If you save the image, choose upload a file or simply drag the photo over from wherever you saved it. And every image on the internet has its own unique URL. So if you copy the image address, paste that link into the search bar. Again, we get an AI-generated summary. It says this was a real publicity stunt pulled off by famous showman P.T. Barnum, but nothing about whether this image is an authentic photograph. And almost all of our results are other social media posts, which raises some red flags. But it also gives us some clues. Here's one where it's just one row of elephants instead of two. Here's another where the crowd's missing. And here's one with a man riding the elephant. So it's clear that at least some, or maybe all of these images have been doctored or fabricated, maybe with AI. Now, here's a pro tip. If your search results look like this, just tons of other social media posts and no clear answer, there's an option to add to your search in the search bar. You can either plug in a few extra keywords yourself or select from a drop-down menu of options. Let's click, is this real? And the AI summary explained that this was a real event that happened in history, but that the image is not an actual historical photo. More important.
Okay, so that tutorial, another support for your students. Before I leave Checkology and sharing and showing the resources that are here, I did want to bring your attention to journalist visits. So this tab right up there, you can schedule a newsroom to classroom visit either in person or online with one of our journalist volunteers. You're able to filter by area of expertise, language spoken. And then once you have found that journalist that supports your curricular objectives, that can extend the learning around news and media literacy in your classroom, you simply click. You're able to see where the journalist has worked. You can also read what they've written and then invite. And now you have a journalist volunteer who is able to share their expertise with your students. I've shared a lot, and I want to help you bring students to content. And you can go to my classes to set up a class. I'm going to leave the live demonstration, go back to slides, give you a quick overview, and end with that showing of how you can set up a class so your students can have access to this learning from those lessons in the content tab. Feel free to add your questions to the chat if you have any up to this point.
With more than 250 free lessons, activities, and teaching tools, Checkology has everything you need in one place to start teaching news literacy today. Getting started is easy. Create your free account by using one of the single sign-on options or register with an email address. Next, join your school. This allows you to select colleagues as co-teachers or transfer students across classes. Need something you can use right away? Under Resources, you'll find quizzes, interactive activities, ready-to-use slides, posters, and more. Easily search by topic, grade level, the amount of time you're looking to fill, resource type, or learning standard. Need more than a standalone activity? Assign interactive lessons or build your own course with material from the content library. Click My Classes to create your first class, then edit your class settings. Select Assign Course and you'll get a ready-made course pathway, or you can select another preset. Prefer to mix and match? Checkology is fully customizable. Click Customize this course to add, remove, or reorder content from the content library to best fit your needs. Getting students registered is simple. Click Add Students and invite them to your class by copying and sharing the join link with them. There's also the option to join through a class code or by adding your students directly. Once a course has been assigned, you can monitor your students' progress in real time in the online gradebook. The Check Center helps students put news literacy skills into practice. The Quick Check tool helps learners determine the credibility of a piece of content. And in the toolbox, find more tips and tutorials for verifying information. Experience the proven difference Checkology makes, because real-world news literacy has never been more vital. Register for free today.
Looking at all the resources that you've seen, the Checkology lessons, the tutorial, the challenge, the lesson plan and slide deck, Is It News, the infographic, 6 Things to Know About AI, the SIFT and the Daily Do Now slides. Thinking about all of that, what did you see that will help your students navigate their information environments? Go ahead and Add to the chat your ideas or capture your thoughts in a notebook. Young people are growing up in the most complex information environment in history. They need the skills, knowledge, and dispositions to navigate this environment successfully. The News Literacy Project's free lessons and resources can help. I hope you're leaving this session with a few ideas and helpful resources.